Letters to a Young Teacher, written by Jonathan Kozol. I felt as if this piece was very uplifting. These letters that corresponded back and forth between himself and Francesca were telling of his true feelings, as well as her fears. Visits to Francesca. Kozol would visit Francesca repeatedly. Since he was residing in the Boston area, he could arrange to make time out of his schedule to visit with her on short notice, if any at all. I would like to share a little part of one of these letters that he wrote to her about the very first time that he visited her. I found it very sweet. He writes, "When I walked into your class last week for the first time, you were sitting in that old black rocking chair, surrounded by your students, who were gathered on the reading rug. Some of them with knees scrunched up in front of them, others lying on their stomachs, leaning on their elbows. You said that most of them at that point couldn't read or write, more than about a dozen words, but you were slowly turning the pages of a word and picture book you told me that you had loved since you were a child. And you were reading the story to them in that special voice you have which seems to make each sentence sound like something irresistibly delectable. Even the tiny boy, Arturo, whom you referred to as your little bear, who came into your classroom, as you put it, knowing almost nothing about anything, was leaning on his elbows, looking up at you with a kind of dreaming adoration. I know how hard you're working with him now to bring him into the big world of letters, sounds, and numbers, but even by that morning, only 4 weeks after school began, you had already won him over somehow to the very nice idea that he would be surrounded this year by a veil of tenderness and beauty. He obviously felt safe with you, and was in the early throes of a child's first love for his teacher." I adored that part of the book. I thought it was a very sweet letter. A happy classroom. Francesca wanted to be able to allow her children in a class to express themselves, for them to be happy and bring that excitement to the classroom. They are so curious and willing to learn if we provide a place for them to do so. Kind of just like Arturo. Can we teach? There was a tone of the inability to teach without teaching to the exam, even at the young primary levels. There are assessments, and there really is no way around that. For Francesca, being as she is in an urban public school system, it seems to be that the inequalities of the urban schools make it where we are almost as segregated as we were a little bit over a century ago. I kind of find that disturbing in a way. Working in a school system currently, I do see the pressure, the assessments, both to the children and the teachers. I feel he touched on this topic quite greatly and very honestly. The teachers really, especially in the upper grades, they have somewhat of an inability to teach. Provide the best possible setting. Kozol expressed to Francesca that she should enable her children in her class to learn freely. She should provide a safe learning environment for them and allow them to be excited to learn at even the earliest of ages. Allow them to be the best that they can be. Encourage learning. In conclusion, I feel as if this book served as a wonderful tool for Francesca as well as Kozol. They were equally reliant on each other for diverse reasons. I believe Francesca looked up to Kozol. She admired his knowledge and ideas. I also feel as if Kozol thoroughly enjoyed sharing his wealth of information with a newly certified teacher fresh out of school, seeking his advice. This is a great piece.